Oh, we've got a fun one today. Watch this.
I got this 6.2 AT4X. I feel sorry for all my 6.2 owners. Let me show you why. Let me show you this damage done to the crank. Look at all that. Let me show you right here. Here we got the connecting rod bearings. Sheesh. Brand new AT4X. Completely gutted.
Then Dave's Auto Center 6.2 broken before it could even be sold to a customer.
In general, their machining or whatever they're doing when they're building these motors, something's going wrong. Like it's definitely affecting hundreds of thousands of motors. You know, for basically having no miles on it, you would think that all of this would look nearly perfect, and it's not perfect like you would think.
Now keep in mind, these are brand new engines. This never saw a customer. How could they have changed their manufacturing process if this is still occurring? So I have to ask you guys, do you think that General Motors is going to stop having problems like this with their current V8s and transmissions before 2027, which is when they release the new V8s? A whole new V8 lineup in 2027, that's rumored. I have a suspicion that GM is just going to let this ride out, and the 6.2s, the 5.3s, the lifter problems, crankshaft problems, transmission problems, I think we're just going to continue to see it until people stop buying them. That's the answer. Now, before we get into more GMC 6.2, 5.3 issues, I thought I would bring this up just because it's fun to look at. Remember when the old GMs, the 2004 2500 HD with the 6.0 liter, 499,000 miles. Remember how awesome those trucks were, other than some transmission issues. That was the last really good truck that General Motors was building, in my opinion. This dashboard brings back memories for me. I don't remember any failures. I wanted to just show you this because this really bugged me. This is actually the reason why I'm doing this video. Old Jacob here, looking to buy a fairly new Sierra 1500 SLT torn between the 5.3, 6.2, and 3.0 diesel. Doesn't tow that much, wants fuel economy. Well, Jacob, I hate to burst your bubble, but I wouldn't buy any of those three engines from General Motors right now. All of them have some sort of issues, and if they don't have issues with the engine, you're probably going to have transmission problems or wonkiness down the road. This is exactly why I didn't even bother looking at GM. The 5.3s have lifter issues, the 6.2, and the 3.0 diesel, well, it's got crankshaft issues too, thrust bearing problems. So why would you look at any of these? Look anywhere else. Now this first guy, 2025 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. What is that? Is that a $90,000 to $100,000 truck? I think it is. Pretty sure that's what they are on the sticker anyway. While driving down the highway, there was a lot of cars behind him and he had to suddenly stop. A lot of smoke was coming out of the hood. And he had to get his 92-year-old mother and father out of the truck and over from one lane of traffic to the guardrail, put them over the guardrail to safety. He has the 6.2 liter engine, which has 600,000. Yeah, they have 600,000 of these engines under recall. NHTSA's doing a follow-up investigation on hundreds of thousands more engine failures with these 6.2s, and this is an example of why NHTSA is actually investigating more 2025s are already failing. And if you remember, the last recall gets from 2021 to 2024, not the 25s. So you start to see all these 25s failing. I mean, they're only a year old. He says maybe they should think about recalling the 2025s. Yeah, they probably will, but they don't want to do a stop sale on them, so they don't want to recall them right now. And this goes for any of these trucks. If you see recalls like this up to like 2024, the reason they're not recalling the current year is usually because they've got leftovers they want to sell, and they just don't want to put a stop sale on them. If they put something under recall, they can't sell the vehicle to you. So a lot of the time these manufacturers play these games. I don't know why NHTSA lets them get away with it, because they know that there's probably going to be, 2025s failing, and they let them get away with it, sell the vehicles, and then recall them later. That's what Toyota's doing with the Tundra. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people think about. I always hear people say, hey, they're under warranty, stop complaining about it. It's not about the warranty, right? It's about you're in this situation and you're on the freeway with your 90-year-old parents in the truck, and you got to get over 2 lanes, and the only way to get off the freeway is to jump over the guardrail and not get hit by a semi. I think that's more the story here, is that if you get off the road without causing an accident and if everything goes the right way, then you still have this huge hassle. It's not just about it being under warranty. That's not what I'm concerned with. And here's a lovely story sent from Andrew on the 22nd of November. It says, okay, gents, he's owned it since it was new, 90,000 kilometers. It's his second 6.2 liter that died on him in this truck. He thought he would get lucky and only have lifter issues. So people buy these things and they think, well, if I get lucky, then I'll just have to do lifter rebuilds at 100,000, 80 or 100,000. That's where we are with the truck market these days. How crazy is that? He said it's official that the GM 6.2 liter is a 40 to 45,000 mile engine. That's the second bottom end blown. V8s are no longer what they used to be. This guy summed it up underneath that post perfectly. Bottom ends in the 6 liters, the top ends in the 5.3s and valve bodies in their transmissions. GM is just a joke now. Isn't that the truth? Here's another 2025 GMC Sierra AT4 6.2, 12,000 miles. He was just driving along. He said he was on the highway and the transmission started slipping and eventually the whole vehicle just turned off and was followed by a burning smell. Put it into park, heard a click while trying to restart. Ended up getting it towed. So some burning smell, probably a torched engine if he couldn't restart this, because usually the transmissions, you can restart them and run the engine. So I decided to go check out NHTSA to see if anybody had finally been complaining about these 25s as well. Oh, sure enough, November 10th, transmission module went out with 20,900 miles on a 2025. Next one down there, he's got 3,200 miles on his 2025 with the 6.2 liter. The engine died, knocking. Sounds like it's going to jump out. Been at the dealer in Columbus since Thursday. Looks like a dead engine at 3,200 miles. Here's another 2025 posted on November 12th. We're traveling when it went into limp mode, showing our speed way down. We got to the dealership and they determined low oil pressure and metal in the oil. His vehicle only has 1,185 miles on it. Hey, I guess the benefit is you're not keeping them out of warranty and you get a warranty replacement. Problem is they're on back order. And here's another 2025. I can only guess this is the 3-liter Duramax. Going back to the guy's post, yeah, don't buy these yet either. They need to fix their problems. Traveling at 70 miles an hour. He had a reduced acceleration, the same thing. Sounds like the engine locked up. There were many semi-trucks he had to swerve, get his vehicle off the road. He was told by the dealership the engine grenaded and the dealership confirmed he will need a new engine and turbo. So guessing it's the 3-liter Duramax. Doubtful it's the 2.7, but who knows? Maybe the 2.7s are grenading too. Now, whether it's GM or Chevy, it's the same platform. This is on the Silverado side. Down there on the bottom, 6 weeks since purchase and only 2,000 miles, engine suddenly made a horrible rattling noise and stalled. Towed to the dealership. Engine was dead, needs replacement. Another one above there, guy bought it on August 23rd, 2025. On October 23rd, 2025, couple months he's had this, driving his daughter to school. Dashboard lights up, reduced acceleration, probably locks up on him. He had a code P06DD, engine oil pressure control solenoid valve stuck off, and he said that he needs a full engine replacement. He had 3,307 miles. And he does say here, engines for this vehicle are on back order. There is no time frame. Woo! Here's another one from 2025, 5,750 miles, 6.2 liter engine seized due to connecting rod bearings. Actually, it could be the connecting rod bearings. I know Dave's Garage has had a couple of those in there, but usually it's crankshaft issues causing these other problems. All that to say, well, you remember the original NHTSA report here, 597,000 were going to be recalled for these 6.2 liter failures, but it only covered up to 2024. Obviously, they're going to have to expand it for the 2025s, which is why there's a new investigation. And as some people have reported, on October 27th, NHTSA is expanding the probe into 286,000 more General Motors vehicles over the possible engine failure issues. They upgraded the probe because of 1,157 reports of engine bearing failures in probably the 2025s. That's what we're starting to see now pop up everywhere. And here's one more fun one. 2024 Sierra 6.2 says, y'all hear that knocking? This engine was already replaced by warranty because the first engine failed. And now this is his second 6.2 liter. He's being told this is a normal sound. What do you guys think? I don't think that's normal. It's either got lifter issues or another developing crankshaft or rod bearing problem. If you're like Jacob here and you just want to buy a new GMC or a Silverado, I would probably stick to the 2.7 liter, which is an unpopular opinion, but the 5.3s, the 6.2s, the 3.0s right now in the 1,500s are still dropping like flies. And if you don't see them dropping early on, they almost always tend to have lifter problems later on. I see a lot of guys in these Facebook groups and forums, 80,000 miles, 60,000 miles on these 5.3s, and they're putting in new lifters, and it is expensive to do that. So yeah, I would stay away. And I'll leave you with one more look at this. Everybody misses the glory days. Thanks for watching. Till next time.